Good evening, and welcome to the CareerWise DC launch event. I'm Latifa Durant, Vice President of CityWorks DC. Thank you all for joining us for this very special occasion. Today, we celebrate the launch of CareerWise DC. This evening, you will get to meet our apprentices, hear from some of our partners, and join us in recognizing those who have made CareerWise Youth Apprenticeship a reality. CareerWise DC is a modern youth apprenticeship program that prepares students for careers in high-wage, high-demand industries. After a year of planning, a global pandemic and heightened awareness of social injustice was not going to derail our plans to launch CareerWise DC. On the contrary, it revealed and elevated the importance of providing young people with in-demand careers in the wake of economic uncertainty, and it made more evident the need to provide access and opportunities to our young people of color. Today, we are delighted to announce that CareerWise DC has launched with 15 apprenticeship opportunities at 7 companies in the business operations and IT fields. While we're excited about the launch of CareerWise DC, we wouldn't be here today without the innovation and thought leadership of Noel Ginsberg. When Noel, an accomplished businessman, traveled to Switzerland and saw how apprenticeship provided career pathways for young people, while also meeting the talent pipeline need of companies, he saw the potential impact this apprenticeship model could have in his home state of Colorado and nationwide. Noel launched the CareerWise Youth Apprenticeship Model in 2017 in Colorado and has since expanded the model with affiliates in Elkhart County, Indiana, New York City, and now right here in Washington, DC. We are honored to have Noel join us tonight and provide remarks to our new apprentices. Noel?
I want to thank first you, Latifa, for that kind introduction. I wish I could be there in DC with you, but obviously times are different right now. And the fact that we're able to connect through Zoom makes this the next best thing. Before I get started, I definitely want to thank Jenny Niles. What I knew from the beginning of CareerWise, should this work happen in other places, it will only happen with great leadership. And what you have brought to Washington, DC, the team that you've assembled, is why we're able to be here tonight to launch CareerWise DC. So I can't thank you enough for your leadership and your contribution to help make this vision a reality. I'll give you a brief history, and Latifa did this a little bit in her introduction of me, but my journey to youth apprenticeship began in 2015 when I journeyed to Zurich to a 10-day institute to learn about how apprenticeships take place in Switzerland. What I didn't expect is the 10 days that I spent there would literally change the trajectory of my life and the work that I do. I founded my business, Intertech Plastics, a little over 40 years ago. And I didn't think at the end of that trip that literally 6 months later, I would be leaving the operating role that I played as the CEO of that company to found CareerWise Colorado, which we did about 6 months later. What I saw there was an example of a system that serves almost 100% of their population, with 70% of their students going through apprenticeships that I assumed before I got to Switzerland would just be in the trades. But in fact, it's in banking and insurance and accounting, every occupation that you can think of. And as a result, students graduate with a credential that leads almost immediately into a middle class type income and a trajectory that can take them as far as they want to go. So when you combine that with the 28% of the Swiss that get a 4-year degree, literally 98% of their population is on a path to a great career with whatever opportunity they choose, because you can start with an apprenticeship and end literally with a PhD. So after seeing that, being inspired by that, and bringing together the loose pieces that I had been searching for since the last 30 years I've been working with our schools and many kids in our inner cities, this was the answer. So I went back to the country, this time after asking our governor, Governor John Hickenlooper, now Senator Hickenlooper, to lead a delegation. And we brought 48 business people, university presidents, superintendents of public schools, board members of public schools, and then a whole host of business people. And after the 4 days that we spent in Switzerland, they saw the opportunity that this could mean for Colorado, and we came back and within 6 months launched our first cohort of apprentices. Today, as Latifa was saying, our network is expanded to over 600 apprentices across 150 employers in Colorado, New York, Indiana, and now Washington, DC. So we're so excited to see this happening and happen in a place that the eyes of the world in many ways will be looking upon you of our nation, because let's face it, you're not very far from the country's capital. And being able to see this in practice will not just change Washington, DC, it could actually impact your work, the whole country. So thank you for having the vision, the willingness to create CareerWise DC, to lead the charge for creating something that I believe can be transformational for your students in your community. So I want to give a message to each of you, and certainly the most important are our apprentices. Yes, you are embarking on a journey that is part of your education, but it will lead to the type of career, hopefully, that will be transformational for you and someday your family. And maybe you're a little bit of a guinea pig because this is the first year, but I can tell you, after watching our first cohort of apprentices graduate, not more than 2 months in the middle of a pandemic, that it has changed the trajectory of these young people's lives and that of the businesses that they work for. So you're key to this program working. Otherwise, it's just a nice idea. So thank you to the students, to now apprentices that are part of your first cohort. And then second, to the employers. Certainly, if you're here and online today watching this, you'll ask yourself, is this just a good program for young people, or will my business benefit as well? And I can tell you, of the 120 employers that have been a part of our program from the beginning, yes, this will impact your business. I can say that as a business owner, our apprentices, which now make up 5% of our workforce at Intertech Plastics, that it has helped us compete on a global basis, where an apprentice was able to design, engineer, and build an apprenticeship, an automation system that has enabled us to compete with our competitors overseas. So as a business, this will be good for your business, and in that it will help to develop the pipeline of talent for the future. And what we've seen during the pandemic is those students that were working in the tech field, they helped keep many of the companies online that were moving from in-person to remote. So these apprentices are not just young people. They will become professionals that will drive your company forward. The next group is so important. I spent, over the last 20 years, thousands of hours working with our public school partners in Denver. And what I learned early on is they have an incredibly hard job, much harder than it was for me running a business in Colorado, because they serve all children, regardless of academically where these children are or the challenges that they face outside of the classroom. You are the people that ensure that our young people have a chance at life. And now what business is doing is playing their role, not just to sit on the outside and be advisors, but actually to be partners with you in the education of our young people, giving them the professional skills and opportunity to be successful in an incredibly dynamic economy that we face that is now globally competitive. These young people will help you, that you bring to the business community as schools. You're so key to the partnership and the ultimate success of what apprenticeship can provide. And certainly, as we look at the last 6, 7, 8 months, our world has changed. But the apprentices that we see coming online today will help the recovery of your business and of our economy in the future. So COVID is a bump in our road, but it is not our future. these young people are, and thank you for having the vision to work with CareerWise DC to ensure that you're building a better workforce for the future and providing real opportunity for the young people. So 3 years from now, you will be able to look back, as I did just a few months ago, and see not only did you change the success and the trajectory of your business, but you will see that lives have been changed, that young people that came in green and new and not necessarily having all the tools and professionalism that you'd expect. What you will see 3 years from now is that they have changed so dramatically. I can't tell you how many times I've heard business people say, I wish you could have met my apprentice 3 years ago, because they have made such progress. They're so important to our business. So I want to thank all of you for your participation in the founding of CareerWise DC. You will help make it possible, and you will help advise the country through your success. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Noel, for your words of wisdom and encouragement to our CareerWise DC youth apprentices, as well as to our business partners in schools. They and we stand on your shoulders. Thank you for championing the importance of youth apprenticeship across the nation. You, my friend, have started a movement to break down the barriers between school and work to ensure all young people have access to social mobility and economic security in this country. This all started with a businessman for a reason. Businesses, large and small, are the linchpin to the success of the CareerWise Youth Apprenticeship Model. Now, we will hear from two of the employers participating in CareerWise DC. First, we will hear from Accenture, a multinational professional services company. Accenture is represented this evening by Tris Pescator, Senior Manager, and Pearl Mather, Human Resources and Program Operations Lead at Accenture. Following Accenture, we will hear from Antoine Ford, President and CEO of Enlighten Incorporated, an IT firm right here in Washington, DC. Pearl and Trish.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Trish, and I lead our Accenture's Youth Apprenticeship Program. My colleague Pearl and I are so excited to be here today with all of you. Congratulations to all the apprentices. It's a really exciting time. And Noel, I really enjoyed those words of inspiration before. It's a fabulous event to kick off your apprentice adventure, and we're excited to be partnering with CityWorks DC for your inaugural year of the program, and super excited. Accenture's missions, for those of you that don't know us too well, our mission is to improve the way the world works and lives. I see this come to life in the work we do with our clients every day, such as working with the Marriott Hotel in DC, where we try to innovate their guest experience, which you may have experienced yourself, and also through Accenture's strong commitment to inclusion and diversity for our people, our clients, and our communities. Apprentices and apprenticeships provide us as employers an innovative recruiting strategy to find and develop highly trained talent and the workforce of the future. And we believe that diversity brings this innovation, and all of you as youth bring a diversity of thought with your new ideas and your fresh lens. And our mission is really aligned with the CareerWise program. That's why I'm super excited about this kickoff. Being a part of this program provides you with meaningful work experience, and on top of that, you also get paid. And it gives you all a robust pathway to your future success, which helps not only yourself, but also your communities and your employer. It's been really amazing to witness the energy and the enthusiasm around this program within Accenture. And our supervisors and coaches are really energized. They're more happy, they're higher productivity, and it's a great place to work. So it's a win-win for all of us. Just a little background on Accenture's apprenticeship program. We started our apprenticeship program in 2016 with 5 apprentices in Chicago, and we saw that there was a need to develop the talent of the future. By the end of this calendar year, we would have trained up to over, I think, 700 apprentices, And 41 of those apprentices, I'm really proud, are actually youth apprentices and part of CareerWise. We have 37 in our New York City CareerWise New York program and 4 in DC. In my role, I have the privilege of working with all the apprentices day in, day out, and especially the 4 that are from DC that started on October 5th. And their energy, engagement, and eagerness to learn is really infectious to everyone. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Pearl, who's going to talk a little more about the details on our particular program at Accenture.
Thank you, Trish. Hi, everyone. I want to start off by saying thanks to the CareerWise DC team for putting this event together, and thank you all for taking the time to join today. As Trish mentioned, I'll be giving you a brief overview of the apprentice experience here at Accenture. Since October, our apprentices have gotten to learn more about Accenture and our commitment to inclusion and diversity. They have met with various leaders for advice, including Marty Rogers, who is our lead in the South and the Washington, D.C. office. They've also taken a StrengthsFinder test to identify their strong suits and develop skills such as time management and business communications. They've also had the chance to get to know our New York City apprentices through social events such as trivia games and virtual scavenger hunt as a part of their National Apprenticeship Week. The apprentices are learning how to collaborate in the workplace, and they're getting to build networks and knowledge that will last a lifetime, and it's truly amazing to be able to witness it. My advice to you today is to bring your energy, passion, and commitment to the workplace, and to use your voice, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Asking for help is always going to be a sign of strength, not weakness, and you were hired because your employer saw something special in you, so don't let yourself forget that. As I close, I want you to remember that this is just the start of your amazing apprentice adventure. There's so much learning and growing ahead of you, and your potential is truly endless. In the words of Thoreau, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you imagined. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.
Hello, my name is Antoine Ford, and I'm president and CEO of Enlighten Incorporated. We're a technology firm located in Washington, D.C., focusing on system engineering, cybersecurity, and management consulting. Our mission is to really solve complex problems for our customers, which include both federal, state, and local, as well as commercial customers. The company's been around for 20 years now, but most importantly, I'm proud of with the company is that we've been involved with young people in this city since the inception of the company via internship programs, and now I'm excited about the partnership that we have with CityWorks DC and the CareerWise program, because for the first time we're going to be involved in not just internship programs, but apprenticeship programs. We are delighted about this because there is a return on investment when it comes to investing in these young people, particularly over 2 to 3 years that we may have them. And so we're excited about it because we know we will make a significant difference in the lives of these young people, and they will make a significant difference in the corporate structure of Enlighten and bring value to us. And I think that's the power of the investment that we're making on a day-to-day basis with them. I want to congratulate this cohort of young people and students that are going to make great impact on the companies, the great companies that are involved in this partnership program. You're going to set the standard for the future for this particular company and this program. And I congratulate you and wish you well. Take care and God bless.
Thank you, Trish, Pearl, and Antoine. We truly appreciate your leadership. You and our other founding employers understand that the CareerWise Youth Apprenticeship is not a corporate and social responsibility initiative. CareerWise Youth Apprenticeship is a talent initiative that helps companies access burgeoning talent, build a diverse workforce, cultivate innovation, and reduce recruiting costs. We want to take this opportunity to thank all of our CareerWise founding employers: Accenture, Enlighten, Castle Systems, Dynamic Network Solutions, Federal City Council, Limbic Systems, and Acquired Data Solutions. Thank you all for paving the way for youth apprenticeship in our city, and we look forward to all of the employers that will join you in 2021. Next, we will hear from our fearless leader, Jenny Niles. Jenny is the president and CEO of CityWorks DC. CityWorks is a nonprofit focused on building local pathways into highly desirable employment for DC high schoolers and recent graduates. Before launching CityWorks DC, Jenny serves as Deputy Mayor of Education and founded the E.L. Haynes Public Charter School. Jenny inspires us all to think big and dream big. Her vision and passion for DC to have an equitable and inclusive economy that includes its young people is contagious. I admire Jenny's tenacity to change the systems, the structures, and the policies that inhibit our young people, particularly students of color, from accessing the opportunities they need and deserve to sustain themselves and their families. Jenny's visionary leadership is why we are here today, to celebrate the youth apprentices of CareerWise DC. Jenny, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Latifa, for that lovely introduction. My name is Jenny Niles, as she just said, and I'm president and CEO of CityWorks DC. I wanted to tell you a little bit about our founding story and what motivates us. What do DC young people need to secure meaningful work that can support a family? That was the question that started it all. 2 years ago, I joined the CityBridge Education as a senior fellow, and that began a journey that took my colleague Furman Haynes and me all around the US and even to Switzerland to learn about innovative, effective programs that prepare young people for careers that enable them to be financially stable, provide choices in their lives, and are vital to the economy. This question was different than the one that I'd been asking as an educator. For most of my career, my key question was, how do I get students to and through college? And that while that is absolutely critical, it's not broad enough. I now want to make sure that all of our young people are on track to secure a good job. Thus, I've expanded from closing the achievement gap to closing the wealth gap, rooting out the deep inequities across race and class in DC, which the global pandemic and the movement for Black lives have only further highlighted, require building wealth, not just being successful in school. One of the highlights as senior fellow was reconnecting with my E.L. Haynes Public Charter School graduates. In talking to them, it was clear that the biggest hurdle to reaching their goals was not their lack of academic preparedness, effort, or desire, but rather generations of systemic racism and tough economic circumstances that stood in their way to finishing post-secondary and or having the connections and experience to land good jobs that can support a family. It became clear to me that in DC we lack a functioning education to employment pipeline that can predictably prepare our DC young people for the good jobs in the region. At CityWorks, our hypothesis is that securing a good job requires the social mobility trifecta. Credentials, academic and industry base, yes, but also paid relevant work experience and the social capital that comes from having a supportive network of professionals. In looking for a way to provide all young people with this trifecta, we realized that delivering these career-building assets at scale requires the underlying systems of K-12, post-secondary, and early employment to transform. In our first year, practically everyone we talked to pointed us to one place. Have you heard about what's going on in Colorado? Have you met Noel Ginsburg yet? After one visit to Denver, we knew we'd found a program that would accelerate young people's social mobility, benefit businesses in need of a more diverse talent, and ultimately catalyze greater systems change. Which brings us to today. To Noel and to CareerWise, thank you for paving the way for us. Your leadership is inspiring. You made it clear from the very beginning that you didn't just want to change Colorado. You wanted to share CareerWise's secret sauce with everyone. I'm excited that we're expanding the CareerWise network so that modern youth apprenticeship is accessible to our young people in DC. To CityBridge Education, thank you to Rachel Evans, Catherine Bradley, and the entire parent organization for our ongoing incubation and support. It goes without saying, we wouldn't be here without you. To the A. James and Alice B. Clark Foundation, thank you for your unwavering belief in us. Your early investment and steadfast support has been instrumental in all of our success to date. And to our other funders, including the J. Willard and Alice S. Marriott Foundation, the Ludwig Family Foundation, the Carnegie Corporation of New York, the Stanley Fund, and the Alper Family Foundation, thank you for believing in our mission and our work. To our employer partners, advisors, and to the Federal City Council, thank you for your leadership in setting an example of why hiring a diverse local talent is is the right business strategy and a direct way to drive towards racial equity. And to our school partners at Friendship, KIPP, DC, and DCPS, thank you for seeing the value of this program for your students, for your willingness to challenge the status quo, and for all the support that you provide to our apprentices. And finally, to our apprentices, you are trailblazers. You are building a career-ready skills that will make you competitive in an ever-changing economy and leadership qualities that will improve your life and the lives of those around you. You're paving the way for more of your classmates, younger family members, and the next generation of youth growing up in DC to access the competitive, high-wage, high-demand careers that the district has to offer. I can't wait to see you all running the world. Now, I'd like to introduce the stars of the show. These are just some of the young people who have taken the leap of faith to join us on this journey of piloting CareerWise in DC. I'm thrilled to introduce you to the first CareerWise DC apprentices.
My name is Latoya Hopper. I am a junior at Friendship Technology Preparatory Academy.
My name is Aaliyah Mansaway, and I attend Friendship Technology Preparatory Academy. I am in the 11th grade.
Jabari Feemster. I'm in the 11th grade attending school at KIPP College Prep.
My name is Kayla Fenwick. I go to Friendship Tech Prep Academy. I'm in 11th grade.
My name is Destiny Cass. I go to KIPP College Preparatory. I'm in 11th grade.
My name is Jordan Johnson. I attend Friendship Collegiate Academy, and I'm currently a junior.
My name is Rakaya Triggs. I'm in the 11th grade, and I attend KIPP DC Somerset.
I work at Accenture. My job title is HR Programs and Operations New Associate.
I applied for Business Operations at Enlighten.
I work as an office operation apprentice for Accenture.
I work at Federal City Council doing business and operations.
I work as a junior web developer with Limbic Systems.
I'm a client service coordinator.
I work at a company called Accenture under the field of business operations.
I chose to apply for the CareerWise apprenticeship program in order to have an early experience within my career field, following the excessive number of opportunities aligned with my experience.
So that I can gain work experience and figure out what I'm interested in.
Because I want to have better communication skills and I want to have work experience.
Overall, I wanted to join the apprenticeship to build upon my current skills and to gain the real work experience.
I chose this as an opportunity for me to gain more work experience and to see if this is something I would be interested in for when I finish high school.
And my favorite part about this program is the opportunity and the experience that I'm gaining. It really prepares me and shows me how it would be to work in the field of business.
I wanted exposure into corporate America. And each and every day I work at Accenture, it reminds me that applying to this company was one of the best decisions that I've made.
Thank you, Amaya, Kayla, Latoya, Aaliyah, Destiny, Jabari, Jordan, and Rakaya. We are excited that you and your families have chosen to participate in the CareerWise DC Youth Apprenticeship Program. We know that learning and now working in a virtual environment is not easy, but you have risen to the occasion and you have more than met the challenge. Opportunities favor the prepared, and our apprentices started preparing for their opportunities during our summer boot camp. Typically, summer boot camp would be held in person, but given the pandemic, our apprentices completed their training in a virtual environment. Operating in the virtual space didn't stop our apprentices from developing critical skills such as professional writing, working in teams, and self-advocacy. Our facilitator, Cordell Carter, and our apprentices will show you a bit of what we covered during virtual boot camp.
It's 10 days to acculturate high school juniors to the world of work.
This boot camp helps me gain this confidence. I know how to communicate, I know how to work, and they taught me how to structure myself within these environments.
It's often thought that there's only one pathway to success, and that's going directly to a four-year college after high school, when that's in fact not the case. For many of our young people, having multiple options to career success is what's most beneficial to them. And so we are reshaping the education to employment pathway.
Is this someone I want to invest in? Can this person grow? That's all an employer wants to know.
It definitely taught me how to code switch.
Can I say Cordell? Do I have to say Mr. Carter?
I know how to go from being in the workplace to being in the school place, vice versa.
We've just hired our first group of apprentices. To see a student go from just a normal high school student to an apprentice, start to develop their professional skills, you really see a whole new person.
They're still teenagers, and if we can get them super prepared for that professional space, they're going to do very, very well.
We looked at what industries were employers looking for talent. And so the CareerWise Youth Apprenticeship gives both employers the opportunity to fill those needs, as well as students the opportunity to get in to a career that will be able to earn them a family-sustaining wage.
To me, it's all about opportunities.
Our apprentices learned a lot this summer, and they had fun while doing it. The time they spent together helped our apprentices to develop both as colleagues and as friends that will support each other over the next 3 years. For youth apprenticeship to be successful, it takes employers, students and families, as well as schools. We're grateful for Friendship Public Charter Schools and CWDC for their willingness to be vanguards for youth apprenticeship. While an amazing opportunity for students, the youth apprenticeship model is new to DC. But despite being new, Friendship and KIPP saw how youth apprenticeship supported their college and career readiness goals. We are here to celebrate the CareerWise DC apprentices, and so are their school communities. Next, you will hear from one of our school partners, KIPP DC.
KIPP DC has long had a commitment to college and our students having sustainable careers. Oftentimes, when we think about the journey of young people from high school, we think about it in a singular fashion, with them heading straight to college. What we know to be true is that apprenticeship programs and practical work experience can propel students in so many amazing ways. And so we were delighted to join the apprenticeship program sponsored by CareerWise and the work going on across the city, not just with the planning of the CareerWise team, but also with small businesses and large businesses alike that are in our city. We see this program as transformational and more options for the awesome students that we serve. So I wish congratulations to the students who are a part of this inaugural class, and congratulations to my colleagues at CareerWise for doing something that will be truly transformative in our communities this year and for many years to come.
Thank you, Tavera. We're delighted that KIPP DC and Friendship have partnered with us on this journey, and we look forward to including other LEAs in schools in fall of 2021. This evening, you've heard from our leaders, our employers, our schools, and met our apprentices. We would like to conclude our time together by giving our apprentices the opportunity to share in their own words why youth apprenticeship matters. Noemi Bankatraj, Manager of Programs and Partnerships at CityWorks DC, will moderate the discussion. Noemi has worked with our youth apprentices from the very beginning, helping them to prepare their resumes, apply and interview for positions, and has provided ongoing mentoring and support since their first day on the job. Noemi will be joined by some of our youth apprentices this evening: Amaya, Kayla, Latoya, Aaliyah, Destiny, and Rakaya. We look forward to hearing what they have to say about being a part of CareerWise DC. Noemi?
Thank you, Latifa. As you've all heard tonight, becoming a CareerWise DC apprentice takes a lot of work, self-discipline, and grit. From applying what they've learned in the past about resumes and interviews to preparing for the workplace, the apprentices you have met tonight have spent several hours, days, and months preparing for their apprenticeships. We hope that someday we can all be in the same room to learn from one another. Until then, I want to thank the apprentices for being willing to share a bit about their experience with our attendees tonight. Apprentices, if you guys can all go ahead and unmute yourself. Well, actually keep yourself on mute for the moment, but go ahead and turn on your camera so we can all see you. We'll give you just a second to do that. Amaya, I'd like to start with you. You first expressed interest in the program in early June, and you went on to interview with Accenture later in the summer. When you heard that you had been offered the apprenticeship position with Accenture, what was your reaction, and how did your family react to the good news?
I was super excited, because I get very anxious when I don't know something right away. So I had to learn to be patient and to just hear back from everyone to see if I got it. And when my teacher told me that it was, shared with her that, Maya, you got accepted to the apprenticeship, I was just like, I did. Like, I was just so over the moon. I was so excited because I just knew what a great opportunity it would have been for me to be a part of that program. So just, hearing that I got a part of the program, I was just over the moon. And so was my mom. Like, she was like, "Well, I knew you can do it." She's always told me, I can do anything I put my mind to. So this just was one of those things. It was like, you put in the work, you dedicated your time to make sure that you met the criteria and you were, fit to do something like this, and you did it. So I was just like, oh my goodness, like I was just super excited. I was super shocked, and I was super happy because I knew that this was just the beginning of the journey that I was going to continue later on.
Destiny, going on to you, you actually started the apprenticeship just a couple of weeks ago. So now that you have a couple of weeks under your belt and you think about what's ahead for you, what are you most looking forward to about your apprenticeship with Federal City Council?
I'm just trying to get work experience and better communication skills, because I feel like my communication skills could be better.
Great. And what has been your favorite part about the apprenticeship so far?
Doing the project that I just recently got finished doing not that long ago.
Awesome. I know you're still just a couple weeks in, so I'm sure you're still getting the hang of things, and pretty soon you'll have a lot of experience and a lot of stories to tell, I'm sure. Latoya, I remember early on in the boot camp sessions, you said you were counting down the days for boot camp and your apprenticeship to begin. So now that you're a few weeks into your apprenticeship, what has been the highlight of your experience so far, or the most surprising thing you've learned?
I hope you all are able to hear me well, but I would say the highlight is when we're able to work with Cohort 1 from New York. One of the days we played a trivia game with them, so we was able to test our knowledge of Accenture, so that was pretty fun.
Thanks, Latoya. Rakaya, you are the most recent hire, and you'll actually begin your apprenticeship here soon, but you haven't quite started yet. So is there anything in particular that you are excited about or that you're most looking forward to once you start your apprenticeship with Enlightened?
Well, I want to gain more work experience and learn and gain more new skills, because I'm working on some new skills, and I just want to take the opportunity to gain new work skills.
Aaliyah, why don't you take us home? Can you share what your favorite moment or highlight of the apprenticeship has been so far?
Sure. So recently, today, we learned a lesson about LinkedIn. And this by far had to be one of the best things that I've learned from Accenture, because I was able to have a deeper understanding of what LinkedIn could mean for me as a teenager, and then what it can also do for me as I make connections with all of these people outside of Accenture, inside of Accenture, what it can do for me. I completely enjoyed the lesson, and it's made me much more determined to make an all-star LinkedIn profile.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaliyah. And thank you all, apprentices of Cohort 1. Thank you for participating in this portion of the event and sharing just a little bit about your experience so far. I think I speak for everyone here when I say we are all incredibly proud of you, and we continue to be impressed by your maturity and your drive. We are nearing the end of our event tonight, so I would actually like to pass it back to one of our wonderful apprentices who will close us out. So apprentices, feel free to turn your camera off. I think you're all muted, and Amaya, the mic is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amaya, and I am a junior at Friendship Collegiate Academy, and I am also an HR apprentice at Accenture. As we end tonight's celebration, I would like to take one more opportunity to thank the individuals and organizations who made the CareerWise DC program possible. To those who provide funding through leadership and mentorship to CareerWise DC team members, we thank you. I speak for my fellow apprentices and CareerWorks teams when I say that I am grateful for your experience and support. Thank you to all the employers who have signed up to hire young people so that we can kickstart our own careers and help contribute to our company's success. Thank you to our schools, Friendship Public Charter School and CWDC, for offering this opportunity as part of our high school experience. I would also like to thank Mr. Cordero Carter, who facilitated our summer boot camp sessions and led us through meaningful conversations and helped us prepare for our apprenticeships. To my fellow apprentices here today and to those who have hired us, who are going to be hired in the coming weeks, congratulations on everything that you've already accomplished, from interviewing and joining your companies to balancing school and work. Let's feel proud of our achievements this year and look forward to the achievements to come. Thank you all very much for joining us today. We wish you all a very good night.